Welcome to a Friday afternoon of a market that is very, very volatile. Let me get this out of the way. And I'm going to share with you a chart that I believe is one of the most important charts out there. And I will be taking some chart requests. So we have news out of Apple that they are closing stores, shuttering stores in Florida, Arizona, North Carolina, and South Carolina. The market flipped like that. Now we know that the market has been looking for a reason to go down. Now let's keep in mind the whys. Why does it want to go down? Well, you have technicians, guys like me, that think that it should go down. But the reason why we've stayed long the market is because we know we have the Federal Reserve, unlike any other time in history, supporting the market. Now, in any other time, we would have been short the market. I tried to short. It didn't work. We stopped out, went long. So the market said we were wrong. It's different this time, and I hate that phrase. Anyway, so you have technicians like me that are open-minded. I know that we could flip on a dime and we can go from bull market to bear market like that. And I said it back in February when nobody was paying attention to COVID rolling out. The stock market was still ripping off to new highs. And I said, I'm getting short. I'm getting short. I'll fight the market a little bit, but eventually the supply chain disruption will play catch up. And sure enough, it did. Now, you have banksters out there that are just dying for this market to go down. And they don't want to get it at a 5% discount to where it is right now. They want to get it in panic mode. They want to make everybody fearful. And you have a media that knows if you have a stock market in free fall and the election day is near, you're going to see a president with a very, very difficult time of getting reelected. And that's exactly what they want. So they will help the banksters do exactly and get exactly what they want. And that is to scare traders out, have them sell, and buy back in. Now, you're looking at stocks, and I don't day trade, right? But we're looking at intraday charts at current. I'm looking at some support levels. And you're looking at stocks like I had alerts fire off earlier on TrendSpider, where these distressed stocks, the stocks most heavily impacted by COVID, they were breaking down below support lines. And that's why it's so important to use alerts, because my phone, which I don't have in front of me, was just lighting up like a pinball machine. And you can see at current, this is United Airlines. United Airlines is trading down below support. We're rallying back here a little bit. So the question then becomes, as you proceed into the back half of the day or the last hour of trade, where to from here? What happens next? What happens in that final hour of trade? And the question is, I don't know. I'm not that smart. I can speculate. I believe that in all probability, the plunge protection team will come in. They'll bid stocks back up, scaring the shorts. They don't want to be short ahead of the weekend. Now, if that doesn't happen, if we continue to see weakness and we begin to close into the lows of the day, that's a problem. That's a serious problem. That's telling me, that's the market sending us a signal saying that next week is probably not going to be that good, especially if you have another large, big box store like Best Buy or a Target say, you know what, we're going to follow suit with Apple, and we're going to close some stores as well. That's very bad headline risk. You don't want that. You don't want to fight that market because the perception is, or reality is, what the image is. And the image is, if you have stores closing, that they have good news. They have strong data to support what they're doing. When in all reality, they're just maybe reacting to the headline news that's put out there that COVID is spiking in areas that opened up too soon, and it's just the media trying to fear monger a bit. That's my own opinion. So the final hour is going to be critical today. And you can see that United Airlines just recaptured was close to recapturing support. You know, taking a look at other distress plays like, where is it? Carnival Cruise Lines. You can see Carnival is under a lot of duress right now. This is, again, a 4-hour chart, and we are trading down below the lower band of support, and we have taken out the lows of the week. So very, very poor price action here on Carnival. So for those out there that are thinking that, you know, you're getting a great value right now in the cruise line stocks, that may not be so. So I'd be very, very careful at current, because it appears as though if we do not rally back strong in the final hour of trade, if we get a new weekly low next week, then you're going to see a good amount of selling here. So be very, very careful. Now, earlier, I mentioned that Spotify was setting up as a short. You could see that it did continue to rally, and it came very close to our price target. It has pulled back some. So we'll continue to monitor it. Now, the chart that I'm watching into actually two charts. I want to see how, let's go to my saved chart here. That's not the one. Let's go to SPX. That's the one. Let's see whether or not we can hold. We're still holding 3,100. 3080 is very critical. 3050 is, it's got to hold. Hey, Young, how you doing, pal? It's got to hold. So 3,100 right now is a bit of resistance. So we want to acknowledge the fact that last week became the new upper band of really strong resistance. You play connected data. You can see I drew a line here. If in fact we rally next week, next month, whenever, up and through 3,200, you're probably going to see us take out the highs, the S&P highs. However, if we break back down below the 3050 mark, I think that we have some serious problems on our hands here. And God forbid we take out 2950, which marks the low of the month. Now, the chart that I'm really paying attention to is, let me update this, is the VIX, which has come off its highs on the day. Now, the VIX, let's go to the weekly chart first. The VIX, this is not a bullish candlestick on a weekly basis, not by any stretch of the imagination. However, the daily chart is looking very good. If we do sell off on VIX and rally back on the S&P 500, then I probably won't do much. I'm not a day trader, so I'm just going to probably stay long on my positions. If we see the VIX, back to the daily chart, if we see the VIX rally and close above or close at the highs of the day, that's a problem. That's telling me that what we've done today is very, very technically positive. And what I mean by that is that we sold off, We retested 30 on the VIX. It held and it rallied and it bounced off of that support level. And that's the problem. It's support. I like your vids. Thank you for doing this. You're welcome, pal. Thanks for the comment. I appreciate that. Thanks for joining in. You want me to take a look at Boeing? I took a look at it earlier. Not looking good. Maybe it's bounced back, but I'll take a look at it for you. So let's keep an eye on the VIX. If it closes at the high of the day, that's a problem. All right, this is what you don't want to see VIX, and I would refer you over. The king of VIX analysis is Keith McCullough over at Hedgeye. He's very, very good. Very entertaining, very, very good. And he has a target on the VIX, and it changes because he uses fractal math. Very smart guy. And right now, his support level on the VIX is at 25. Any number, any read above that, he thinks that we're in stock market crash territory. And the fact that we're holding 30 is support, and I keep in mind what Keith has to say at times, I get all the more concerned that we could see an event. So I'd be worried if we see a pile-on effect to the Apple news, meaning more stores closing. Now, take note, before we go to Boeing, take note of the higher low potential here on RSI and this real pretty reversal bar. Again, we're off the highs of the session. We'll see how well. Let's set this up for a refresh. We're continuing to lose some steam here, which is good. Possible higher low on Stokes. So this is what we'll be watching into the close. The S&P 500, the triple Qs we're trading pretty much with. They've been the market leaders. Hey, Andy. Andy, you mean, Andy's comment is, I don't think it would fall more. Do you mean the VIX or the market, the stock market? Now, the trip Qs, not a good day. It's a failed breakout. Okay. Gotcha. Thanks, Andy. Let's check out Microsoft. Microsoft is the largest component of the Qs. Yeah. Microsoft is down. So going into this final hour of trade, it's going to be really critical, the price action. I'll be watching the Qs, watching the SPY, watching VIX, and they'll make a determination. You know, I already sent out a video to members about positions and what we are looking for. And look at this. Did you see what just happened? Unless it's a bad tick. MSFT just went positive. Must have been a bad tick. Okay. Yeah, it did happen again. Last 196. Yeah, that's not right. This is wrong. Okay. Let's take a look at Boeing. Thanks, Young. Let me take a look at the VIX before we leave here. I'm going to use TrendSpider for Boeing. Okay, so it's negative again. Good. Good. Okay, good. We'll see how we close. We'll continue to monitor it. Yeah, Boeing you need to avoid. I wouldn't buy this dip on Boeing, not yet anyway. They had another bad headline today. I don't know whether it's true or not, but their 777 jet, supposedly there are issues there. I don't know whether that's fake news. You never know nowadays. Again, it could be planted stories for all I know. I would really wait on Boeing. Here's where our alert is set. At around, let's call it 182 per share. I wouldn't be a buyer here right now, especially not with the volatility that's coming into the market. Now, I will say this, that we may be putting in a higher low on stochastics. Let's bring up... I like to validate the charts. Yeah. So we have an outside reversal day today. And what I'd be looking for, there's no rush to go buying Boeing. None whatsoever. You want to see a retest of this lower band of support. And given today's price action, meaning assuming that we close where we're at or lower, that means that we'll probably see a continuation move lower next week, at least retesting this lower band of support. So you don't want to hope when you should fear. Right now, I would really display patience. And hey, Russ, how you doing, pal? Good to see you. Andy, what do I think of the bank sector? I don't like the banks. And that may have changed because early when I looked at my phone, I went over this last night in great detail on Thursday Night Stock Charts Live. And I'll take a look at it right now. But the bank stocks, trade with yields, right? This is end of day. This is not real time, this 10-year yield quote. So what we need to do you can see here, we need to keep an eye on yield. So what happened here is that the Apple News sent yields lower because remember that yesterday or last night when we did Thursday Night Stock Charts Live, I said we have a weekly breakout on yields, right? We broke back above resistance. The question is, do we stay there? And the banks have responded or were responding with higher yields by rallying. What happened on the Apple News? Yields plunged, stocks plunged, the banks plunged. So they pulled back and retested support. You know, that would have been a good time, and I understand why people didn't if they didn't do it. Fearful, concerned that the stock market may break. This would have been a good spot to buy here earlier in the day. But I wouldn't buy right now because I would have put a stop loss right below. I would want to see whether or not we rally back and at least close above this upper band of resistance. I don't see any rush to get long of the banks, especially if yields close lower on the week. Right now, as of last night, they're flat. If they close lower, no rush to get involved with the banks. So on a positive note, the banks are seeing higher lows on RSI, higher lows on Stokes. That's good stuff, right? So we may be seeing signs of a recovery. The market's saying, listen, Bob, don't ignore the banks. Don't buy into your own BS. At some point in time, we may get a rally here, so don't ignore them. Keep an eye on it. Set your alerts. Don't obsess over them. But there's no rush here to get involved. I'm not going to hope when I should fear. So I'll be patient. We'll see what happens. I would not be a buyer of the banks. Russ, here, you're agreeing with me. Okay. LK, come on. Come on. LK. All right, we'll bring it up. All right. This company's got a lot of issues, right? We know that they could be halted at any time. So be very, very careful here. I bet you. I've seen a lot of speculative stocks going up lately. Hertz, Ship. You know, there's too many other good stocks out there to play to take on that risk. Goldman Sachs is the pimp Mac daddy. Yeah, they're a player in everything. So I have a little doubt that they're in there doing their thing. So LK, you know, what can I say here? You have a higher low. I mean, technically it doesn't look bad, but under the hood, you know, one day, you know, they've already had a trading halt. That's why there's no data here. It could happen again. You know, you can wake up one day and it doesn't open for trade. So be careful, is all I have to say. Would I buy it? No. No way. Higher low being put in on price. Let's go here to Trend Spider. I mean, the chart looks good on a daily basis. You know, higher lows, exactly what you want to see. Higher lows. If you're going to buy the darn thing, you know, I guess you could buy it now with a stop right below. And we're kind of already broken out here. I would just keep a tight stop on it. Yeah, we've broken out. Pulling back a bit today. We may pull back and test 270 per share. That'll be a retest of support. You want to put a limit order in there, that's great. And just keep a tight stop underneath. But again, please be careful. This is such a speculative play. Penn. Yeah, Penn is a very good play. I like what they're doing. Let's check out the chart here. So, you know, from a technical perspective, we have resistance above. So I couldn't buy the shares here. Were I an owner of the shares? Would I sell them? No. So here's your floor. I wouldn't buy it here. You're too close to resistance. Let's overlay monthly. All right, not much in terms of monthly resistance. It coincides with weekly resistance, and that's a good ways away. I would buy a pullback here. If we got a pullback to $30 a share, that would be interesting. And I would be especially interested if we pulled back, then broke out and above this declining ceiling on the shares. Now, this, if you break out and you hold 30, you begin to break out, this current resistance level continues to be your upper band of your trading channel. Now, if we rally and close above this blue line here, which is what? 32.50, thereabouts. I would look for a retest next week. If it holds, you can nibble. Just use a stop loss right below. If it fails, you're probably coming down to $30 a share. Daily chart. Yeah, you can see they tried to break it out earlier today, and it was rejected. I don't see a great rush here. I think it's a very, very good stock going the right places. And in this environment where you have a lot of distress in these names, if you can get it at a more distressed price, all the better, because eventually this too shall pass. And we will go back to normal. I don't believe in this new normal stuff. We're Americans. We need to spread our wings a bit. Fastly, yeah, I'm going to check that one out. Let's see. U1. It's off the highs of the day. Come on, you guys are crazy, man. It's a short. It's a short. Yeah. I said that. I said it last night. I said that this thing is, I believe this is a stock. Right? I said it last night. It's a short, and probably it's going to spike up tomorrow and then humiliate me. And I bet you this is the one. I need to go back to the replay. If this is the one, please let me know so I don't have to go back and see myself. I was actually right, but I think that we are going to pull back here. I mean, this is the spike to be sold. I mean, if you're long, you got to make profits real here. And the reason why I say it's a short is that we're trading well above the third standard deviation Bollinger Band. You're not supposed to be there. Andy, that is the one? Okay. Thanks, man. Yeah. That figures, right? But if you were to buy a June 60, buy a 60 put, June 2nd, a 60 put on what? Oh, FSLY. I thought you were talking about U1. Okay, now it makes sense. I'll check out FSLY in a second. 5-minute chart. Not bad. Not bad. No, I have a little doubt. They'll probably humiliate me with this. That's okay. But I'm telling you right now, in the next several days, is going to be a nasty sell-off. I'm very, very confident in that. But the only caveat to that is this, is that we trade sideways, consolidate, thus alleviating that overbought condition. That is when I say, okay, no short here. But I think that's normally not the way they resolve themselves, not with these stocks anyway. But your 5-minute chart is looking good. Stokes are hooking up. You know, I'm not a day trader. These 5-minute charts are way too volatile for me. Here is your triangle formation. You know, I wouldn't, I don't even know why I'm saving this chart. But anyway. It looks okay. But again, it's the daily chart that bothers me most. I want to check out a weekly chart. Come on, it's crazy. It's crazy. You have RSI at 97.97, almost 100. You got to get out. You got to get out. Up 2,055%. I'm sorry, 2,055.98%. This is mind-blowing. This is a short. This is the market saying here's free money. It's a short. What else we got? You will, oh, Fossil, FSOY. FSOY. I know I have an alert set up here. What's the VIX doing? Is it still red? You're welcome, Pre-Jack. Good to have you. All right, so FSOY, another update. I love the chart. But we pulled back off the highs, but we're off the lows as well. How are we going to finish out the week here? Let's take a look at the weekly chart. Beautiful chart. I mean, outstanding. But here's the alert. We discussed this one last night on Thursday Night Stock Charts Live. We're looking for a pullback. And I think it's probably going to happen. And I want to see this support level here hit. You can see I have my alert set. And at current, that would be at around $37 a share, but it's rising. It's going to change. I still haven't researched it. I like the chart. I don't know if I like the company yet, but I like the chart. I would need to see a pullback here. But longer term, I think it's going up. I really like it. Buy 100 shares of SFL. It has to come to me. It has to come to me. Cloud company. Yeah, they're great plays. Great plays. Okay, I didn't know that. All right, there was another one. Let's see. Oh, it wasn't a symbol. Oh, Apple. Yeah, okay. From Periscope. Apple. My Twitter friends. Apple, as a matter of fact, I want to take a close look at Apple. MSFT rallying back here a bit. Almost flat now on the day. Apple. Not much happening here. Trying to bounce back. It's 3:15 now. This is like an exhaustion week. When you see candlesticks like this, get these topping tails, wicks, shadows, whatever you want to call them cupcakes, it doesn't matter. It's a sign of exhaustion. Shares are getting tired. I wouldn't be a buyer. I wouldn't buy this dip because your weekly chart is sending you signals, right? Check out the daily chart. And those signals are not good signals. The daily chart, what you're flashing right now is a very bearish candlestick. It's called an outside reversal or a bearish engulfing, whatever you want to call it. And when you see that, it's generally bad news. And if we close below, what's yesterday's low? 349.22. We're probably going to get a continuation move lower next week. Continuing to see some strength come into Apple, into the close. But again, I'm an end-of-day guy. All I care about, I don't care what it's doing right now. I care about where we close. That's what matters to me. So, we'll see. 4 o'clock, the market closes. We'll see what happens. I call them tweezers. I think that's an appropriate name. Apple is doing buybacks. Yeah, I don't know if that's the smart move. I think that buyback story, and they don't have to make the buybacks, right? They can announce it. They're not mandated to buy. Their earnings were not good. VIX is dropping. I think that they said that so the shares didn't tank. So what we want to see here is the VIX at a bare minimum, ideally close red, right? But down below the support level here at let's call it 31. Selling off more now. So we're seeing a recovery. S&P down, it's about flat now on the day. Let's take a quick peek at the weekly chart here. All right. It's not a great setup here. Again, we're seeing topping action. Last week's price action was not good. This was an outside reversal bar. It did result in a new weekly low, but we recovered, right? That's the plunge protection team. That's Treasury and the Fed working hand in hand. Now, I'm going to need to sign off because I need to go over my positions and see what we're going to do, if anything. We may not be doing anything. And we will, of course, alert members. It's crazy, I know, but Bob, my price target of QQQ for end of September is 320. You've always had wild, I'm not saying that you're wrong. You know, I don't think that, listen, there's two ways of looking at this. Somebody's going to win, right? You have a group of people out there. You have a group of people out there that want this market to crash. I went over this at the beginning. You have the media. They don't want the president reelected. You have the banks. They're underweight stocks. They want to get back in. They don't want to pay retail. Their egos are too bruised. They need to cause a panic. They need to get in at as low a price as possible. The media will help them to make it happen. And then on the opposite side, you have Treasury and the Federal Reserve. So you have two opposing powerful forces that are playing tug of war with this market. So in the end, you know, is your price target feasible? Well, yeah. I mean, the Qs have made new all-time highs post-pandemic. So is it possible? Sure it is. And the way I see it going is that if Treasury and the Fed wins, the way this is all going to end is very akin to the dot-com crisis, where the dot-com bubble, where you had a blow-off top that was just unimaginable. That gets you to your 320. It's not going to stay there long, but it gets you to your 320. So it's plausible. It's going to be unlikely as it's making that charge up to 320. I'll be sitting here biting my teeth, waiting to get short the market, waiting for that event to unfold. But it's possible. And with that, folks, let's check out the VIX really quick. You won. You guys got to sell this stock, please. Good conversation, Russ, as always. All right, so the VIX still down. It's holding this price level here at support. Final hour of trade. Okay, I'm going to go do some analysis on my stocks, see what I want to do. I will catch everybody tomorrow on Best Stock Charts. If you could please, if you're not a subscriber to my channel, please do so. I want to check something out. Did I get to 2,200 subs? $21.95. If you're not currently subscribed, can you please subscribe? Get me to 2,200, please. I beg of you. Like the video, share it with a friend, and I will talk to you over the weekend. Best Stock Charts. Happy Father's Day to everyone. Be well, and